Hey, aren't you going to pay the bill? At a blind date, the woman handed me a $53,800 bill. I just chuckled. Do I even know you? I should be the one asking why you're sitting across from me. My name is Sincere. I'm 28, a software engineer at a major tech company, earning a monthly post-tax salary of $25, approximately $30K. I had planned to focus on securing a car and a house before considering marriage, but my parents' constant nagging forced me to reconsider. A relative happened to suggest introducing me to a girl, and I agreed, thinking it would just be a formality. The girl, Sunny, is 27 years old and works as a receptionist at a company, earning $3,500 a month. I didn't even know her name at first. It was only later that I learned her nickname from a relative. Since they called her Sunny, I decided to stick with it. We added each other on messaging apps, but before we could even exchange pleasantries, Sunny asked, "I happen to have the day off today. Why don't we meet up for lunch?" Meeting face-to-face sounded like a good idea, so I agreed. At 12:30 p.m., I drove to the location Sunny sent me. It turned out to be a restaurant called the Grand Table. I would later find out that this place had an average cost of $500 per person. I found a seat and waited. Half an hour later, Sunny walked in with two companions, a man and a woman, and sat directly across from me. I recognized her from the selfies she constantly posted on social media. "Hello there," Sunny greeted me cheerfully. I smiled and nodded. "Hi." She then introduced her companions. "These two are my best friends, my advisors, you could say." The moment I heard that, I wanted to bolt. A female friend was fine, but a male one and an advisor? Who brings their advisors to a blind date? Still, walking out would have made me look petty, so I kept quiet. Sunny and her friends barely glanced at me before diving into their menus. After that initial hello, Sunny didn't address me again. What happened next completely shattered my expectations. "Hey, Sunny, we're here, Sunny. Is this the guy you're dating?" "Sunny, your uncle thinks this guy has potential. You better make the most of it." "Come on, don't meddle in my daughter's personal business." I watched, dumbfounded, as one relative after another streamed into the restaurant, greeted Sunny briefly, and then found seats. One table couldn't fit them all, and eventually they filled up nearly 2 tables. The only exception was an older gentleman who gave me a polite nod and smile. He seemed to be Sunny's father, Victor. Everyone else barely glanced at me before ignoring my presence entirely. Their behavior was so practiced, it gave me chills. I couldn't help but ask, "Who are all these people?" Sunny smiled and replied, "Oh, them. They're just my family and relatives here to offer their advice." With that, she buried her head in the menu, offering no further explanation. I counted them up alongside Sunny and her 2 friends. There were 18 people in total. Am I being set up as a sucker? The relatives then began ordering food. Lobster thermidor, duck cassoulet, roast goose, crispy fried chicken, and if that wasn't enough, they ordered 2 bottles of red wine and 2 bottles of premium whiskey. I didn't know their exact prices, but together they had to cost north of $20,000. Sunny, unsurprisingly, was the boldest of them all. The 3 of them spent a good while marking up the menu, and within half an hour the table was overflowing with dishes and desserts. Even if all 3 of them plus me ate, we couldn't possibly finish half of it. Do they think my money grows on trees? During the entire process, I didn't touch the menu once. I just sat back and watched the circus unfold. Whenever Sunny occasionally asked what I wanted to eat, my standard reply was, "I had breakfast at 10, so I'm not hungry. I'll just nibble on something later." Soon enough, the food was served, and Sunny's 2 tables of relatives were laughing and chatting while gorging themselves. "Sunshine, this ice cream is amazing. Let's pack some to go. Everyone gets a portion." "Sunshine, my brother hasn't tried roast goose yet. Can we pack a serving for him?" "Of course, you're my best friend. Why wouldn't I? Ha ha, Sunshine is the best." You might think these were conversations between Sunny and her female friend. Nope, this was Sunny chatting with her male friend, Ethan. To make matters worse, after every reply from Sunny, Ethan would glance at me smugly, as if flaunting something. Not long after, Sunny's female friend, Olivia, chimed in. "By the way, Sunshine, we haven't posted on social media yet." Sunny gasped, "Oh no, I completely forgot." She then turned to me, "Sorry, what's your name again?" Would you mind stepping aside while we take a group photo? Great, she didn't even know my name. I was nothing more than a meal ticket to her. They wanted to eat and drink off me but made sure to keep me at arm's length, lest I get any ideas. Ugh. I wordlessly got up and stood to the side, watching them pose for selfies. Only then did I realize just how close Sunny was with her two friends. Olivia was hugging and cuddling Sunny fine, no big deal. Nobody cared. Ethan held her by the waist, pressed his head against hers, and even went as far as a cheek-to-cheek pose. The worst part? He completely ignored my presence. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't figure out why Sunny was acting this way. Unless Sunny wasn't here for a date at all. She was just here for the food. Finally, after 5 full minutes and dozens of selfies later, the trio returned to their seats. I said nothing and quietly went back to mine. Sunshine, let me edit these photos for you, Ethan said, grabbing Sunny's phone and starting to work on the selfies. Meanwhile, I noticed that some of the relatives at the other 2 large tables were getting ready to leave. Before heading out, some grabbed bottles of wine of unknown brands. Others stuffed their pockets with bags of fruits and desserts, and a few even asked the waiter to pack up some lobster. The boldest of them all, an old man who grabbed 4 packs of Marlboro Gold and walked off. That old man was none other than Victor, Sunny's father. I couldn't help but marvel at the audacity but chose not to intervene. It seemed everyone had naturally assumed that I would be the one footing the bill for this meal. Another hour passed, and by then all the relatives had left. Since I had nothing better to do, I roughly estimated the damage. Just the Marlboro Gold? 7 packs gone, 2 bottles of red wine. A bunch of other items, while less expensive, still weren't cheap, easily in the hundreds or thousands of dollars range. By this point, Sunny and her friends had nearly finished eating. It was only then they seemed to realize something was off, namely, that I hadn't even touched my chopsticks. Sunny seemed to grow suspicious. Hey, aren't you eating? She asked. I shook my head slightly. Not hungry. Ethan immediately sneered. Wow, someone's upset about spending too much money, huh? Olivia chimed in. Exactly. If you can't even handle a bill like this, why are you even dating anyone? I didn't respond. The waiter came over with the packed leftovers and the bill in hand. Sunny finally lost her patience. Frowning, she looked at me and asked, Aren't you going to pay? Pay? I feigned confusion and asked, Do I know you? Ethan wasn't having it and said in a harsher tone, Hey buddy, what's your deal here? Olivia scoffed. What's the matter? Don't tell me you don't have money. Before I could say anything, Ethan shook his head and said, Not possible. He makes like $3,000 a month. The moment those words left Ethan's mouth, Olivia shot him a frustrated look like he'd just blown their cover. Sunny didn't look too pleased either. That statement? It was basically admitting they were here just for a free meal. What a clueless teammate. I chuckled coldly. Miss, what are you implying? Are we close or something? Sunny snapped, Hey, is this how you go on a date? I spread my hands wide in mock innocence. Miss, what date? How can we be on a date if I don't even know you? Tell me what's my name. Sunny started, but then froze. She frowned and thought hard for a long time, only to realize she truly didn't know my name. At this point, she looked visibly flustered. I added, See? You don't even know my name and I don't know yours. How could we be dating? Are you kidding me? The waiter, clearly fed up, asked, So, who's paying the bill? Ethan immediately grabbed Sunny and Olivia, ready to leave. Forget him. He's paying whether he wants to or not. Let's go. Let's see what he does about it. I smiled at the waiter and said, Could you check the security cameras, please? During the entire meal, I barely interacted with them. I didn't touch the menu once, nor did I pick up chopsticks or take a single sip of a drink. The trio froze in their tracks, especially Sunny, who was now visibly sweating. She had clearly realized something. Ethan protested, No way you didn't eat. Look at this huge table of food. You're saying you didn't touch anything? Who would believe that? Sunny quickly added, Exactly, waiter. He's lying to you, think about it. How could he sit here for so long without eating a single bite? No one would believe that the waiter, remaining calm, didn't say much. Instead, he called for security. Sorry, but until the bill is settled, none of you are allowed to leave. He then went to check the footage. Once the footage is reviewed, the truth will be clear, I said cheerfully, though my mood darkened the moment I glanced at the bill. 53,842 rounded down, it came to 53,800. Thank goodness I'd stayed silent the entire time. If I'd spoken up earlier, even with the police involved, I might have been on the hook for thousands. Smiling, I turned to Sunny and said, "Miss, 53,800 for a meal? You all sure know how to eat. This restaurant typically charged around $50-70 per person, but they'd managed to push the bill to over $200 per head. A large part of that was due to the wine, cigarettes, and packed leftovers, none of which were cheap." Sunny was clearly panicking now. She stammered, "Handsome, how about this? I won't ask you to pay the whole thing. You just cover 50,000 and I'll handle the rest. Deal?" I couldn't help but suck in a sharp breath. I didn't eat a single bite. "And you want me to cover 93% of the bill? Are you serious right now?" Sunny, surprisingly, grew impatient. "Ugh, I've only got 4,000 on me. What do you expect me to do? Why are you being so stingy for a man? This small amount of money is nothing to you. You're perfectly capable of earning money, aren't you?" I swallowed a few times and couldn't help but clasp my hands in mock admiration. "Miss, your shamelessness truly surprises me." Sunny's two friends were thinking about making a run for it while she and I were arguing, but the security guard was keeping a close watch and didn't give them a chance. Ethan, Sunny's male friend, decided to throw caution to the wind. "I've called the police. A man who can't even fork out a few $1,000s." "What kind of man is that?" I sneered. "Then why don't you pay? You're a man, aren't you? And you seem to have a good relationship with this lady. Isn't it reasonable for you to cover her expenses?" Sunny actually looked at Ethan with a hopeful expression after hearing what I said. Ethan, however, avoided eye contact and stammered, "All my money is tied up in investments. I don't have cash on hand. Besides, I came here to help, not to throw money away." The last part of his sentence was so quiet that even I could hear it clearly, let alone Sunny. Sunny stared at Ethan in disbelief, her lips trembling slightly, but she said nothing in the end. After a moment, the waiter came over and placed a phone on the table, showing a surveillance video. "I just reviewed the footage. This gentleman hasn't been lying. If you have any doubts, you can watch the video yourselves." Sunny carefully scrutinized the footage, holding onto a shred of hope. Suddenly she exclaimed, "Look here, I asked him what he wanted to eat, and he said he wasn't hungry. If he didn't know me, why would he answer?" I shook my head helplessly and turned to the security guard beside me. "Sir, what would you like to eat?" The security guard was caught off guard and instinctively replied, I'm not hungry." I spread my hands and looked at Sunny. "Who says answering you means knowing you? By the way, why did you sit across from me?" Sunny's face turned grim as she continued to watch the footage over and over again. After 3 rounds, she finally lowered her head. But Olivia, Sunny's female friend, wasn't having it. She grabbed the bill and started questioning the waiter. "This has to be a scam, right? Why does this shrimp cost $1,500 each? And that duck with taro casserole over $2,000. No wonder the total comes to over $50,000. You guys must be crazy for money." The waiter's face darkened. "Miss, if you had any questions about our pricing, you should have asked before ordering. Every dish's price is clearly listed on the menu. We did not deceive you." Sunny seized the moment to latch onto Olivia's argument. "She's right, we just didn't pay attention to the menu prices. Who reads the menu so carefully when eating out? This meal shouldn't cost more than $10,000 or $20,000 at most. You can forget about trying to scam us." The waiter, now fully understanding that these people had no intention of paying, called the police as well. The truth was soon revealed, and the security guard no longer stopped me from leaving. As soon as I got home, Sunny sent me a message, "Hey, handsome, how about we split the bill for the meal? I'll even agree to go on a date with you." "You think I'm interested in you?" I replied. Sunny completely lost it. "You broke loser, what are you pretending for? Only some unlucky old hag would be interested, and you can't even pay for a meal. What are you trying to prove? Come back and settle the bill right now, or I'll expose you so all the girls stay far away from you. You'll never find someone to date." I laughed and responded, "Oh, did I hit a nerve? I wouldn't give you a single penny even if I burned all my money. How does that sound? Also, why don't you ask your relatives? Especially your dad, he even took 4 packs of premium cigarettes worth almost $300. That seemed to strike a chord with Sunny, as she didn't reply again. She must have gone to her relatives for help. The incident quickly spread like wildfire among the local community's social circles. The police proposed a resolution where all the attendees would equally split the meal's cost, and those who took cigarettes and alcohol would pay extra. Later, screenshots of Sunny's conversations with her relatives began circulating online. "Dear family, this meal was supposed to be covered by the guy. I don't know who spread the word that he has a high salary and lots of money, urging everyone to eat and take as much as possible to test his generosity. Now it's turned into an embarrassing mess. The total bill of over $50,000 is way beyond my personal capabilities and has damaged my reputation. I'm a victim too. So I hope everyone can split the cost of this meal evenly, especially for the cigarettes and alcohol that were taken. Strictly speaking, those are extra expenses and shouldn't fall on me. There were 17 people in total besides my 2 friends. I hope everyone understands." Naturally, her relatives were not willing. They took more than me. I only ate a little. I wasn't feeling well and barely ate before leaving. Why should I pay? I felt sick after eating and might need to spend a few $100s on hospital bills. Eating that meal even ruined my health. You know I don't smoke or drink, Sonny. I only had half a glass of wine and barely touched the food. Besides, since it was a date, why didn't the guy pay? Apart from a few who transferred money to her, the majority of them tried to shirk responsibility. With no other choice, Sunny played the surveillance footage, so they switched to a different way of arguing. "That guy is so disgusting, Why are we splitting the bill evenly when there's so much leftover food? Can't we just deduct the uneaten portion? The guys before him weren't like this at all. No wonder this guy can't find a girlfriend. Over $400 for one meal? That's a whole month's salary for some people. From now on, let's not get involved in certain people's business." To this, all I can say is they deserved it. Bringing a female friend to a blind date is already barely understandable, but bringing a male friend? That's just absurd. And showing up with over a dozen relatives? That's not a blind date at all. That's straight up looking for a sucker to foot the bill. If she doesn't respect me, then no matter how high my salary is or how much money I have, not a single penny will ever belong to her.